Hey everybody, Steve Prziborowski here. Welcome to episode 79 of Reach for the Firefighter Badge. Episode 79 is going episode 79 is going to continue to build upon helping those that are currently maybe a high schooler or maybe even not even a high schooler yet be the best they can be. So you want to be a firefighter but you're still in high school? Here's some more ways to prepare. Part 3, whether you are in high school or you're mentoring someone that may be in high school that's preparing for a career in the fire service, here's some great suggestions. So let's get going. All right, as a reminder, my 2 websites have lots of great free information on them to help you or anyone that you know that wants to become a firefighter be the best they can be in the process. And more importantly, once they become a firefighter. Because I think that's really my main focus is don't just prepare for the test, prepare for the position. You can't go wrong. A couple of books I've had published are also available on my website. These 2 are focused on entry-level firefighter preparation, so please check them out if you are looking for a career in the fire service. Both are available off my websites. All right, as I shared before, it's never too early to start preparing to become a firefighter. Even if you're still in high school or you know someone that's in high school or will be in high school, now is that time to start planning for the future. You know, it's never too early. Sometimes it's too late though, depending on how old you are. But that's a whole nother episode that I previously discussed, how old is too old to be a firefighter, but I'll let you check that one out if you want more details on that. So in the last 2 episodes, 77, 78, we discussed some general things related to education and experience that the future firefighter could do while still in high school, so they can prepare themselves for success. So now let's get some more information. All right, besides education, besides experience, here's some more preparation, some just general suggestions or considerations. So if you're in high school, make every attempt to at least graduate high school. I mean, don't rely on a GED or equivalent. I know the equivalent degree. I know a lot of people just want to get the heck out of Dodge and graduate and move on with their life. But you know what? There's something to be said about a high school diploma. Not to say that you need one, because most departments usually require a high school diploma or GED or equivalent. Make sure you do your homework and research so you don't shortchange yourself. But again, if you can get the high school diploma, there's no reason not to, especially if you want to, move on to go to college at some point, which I will encourage you to do. Start visiting firehouses. There is no age requirement to visit a firehouse. If you haven't figured out where your local firehouse is by now, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, most of us, when we were growing up, should know where our local firehouses are. If not, GTS, Google that stuff. Go to the internet. If you live in the city of, say, Modesto, go to the Modesto Fire Department website. I bet you all their fire station addresses are listed there. So find the one closest to you. And you know what? If they arrange visits via the internet, arrange a visit. If they don't, go knock on the door. What do you got to lose? They're not going to kick you away. Ask them some questions. Tell them, hey, I'm in high school right now. My name's Steve Prziborowski. I'm thinking about a career in the fire service. Can I maybe get some of your time to maybe pick your brain and find out what I should be doing to best prepare myself? Boom, they'll be more than happy to talk to you. So start getting a chance to meet firefighters and network with firefighters. I mean, maybe you have some friends and family members that are firefighters or in the fire service, but you know what? You're not required to have that. But start visiting firehouses. You got to learn about the career. Pick your friends and the situations you're in wisely. What I mean by that is at some point, you're going to go through a background investigation. And one of the questions that they ask you is, please share names of relatives, friends, acquaintances, because they want to see the company that you keep. Because, I mean, let's face it, if you're hanging out with the wrong crowd, it's going to eventually come out. And you may say, well, I'm not like them. I'm the goody two shoes out of the bunch. They're the bad people. Yeah, they're gang members, but you know what? I'm not a gang member. I just happen to like them as friends. Well, perception's reality. And what do they say? You know, birds of a feather flock together. So I know this sounds harsh, and I know you go, why should I have to pick and choose my friends? Well, again, because you may not do well in the background investigation, and you know, think about it. So I know it sucks, but it depends on what you want out of your career. So just like many professional athletes that grew up in not that great areas, and you know, some of them hung out with the wrong crowds. I mean, it's very common to hear of professional athletes that you know, were either gang members or hung out with the wrong crowd, and then as soon as they got, you know, drafted or signed by the big leagues, now here they're in the pros, you know, even though the background investigation really wasn't a big deal because it's all about skill and ability at that point, some of those folks are dragging them down or keeping them in the wrong crowd or getting them back to their old habits, and some of them had to actually break ties, which is tough because, then they're called sellouts. They forgot where they came from. No, they're trying to make a good life for themselves now. And the people that are maybe using the drugs or hanging out with the wrong crowd or doing things, against the law are not helping them out. So it's awkward. It's weird. I'm not telling you what to do, but just pick your friends in the situations you choose to be in wisely, because again, they may backfire. And you may say, well, I was under 18 at the time. Well, you know what? Never say never. And especially if you post something on the internet, social media, that has nothing to do with age. That stuff goes and stays forever. I mean, there's plenty of stories out there where people post things in high school, and then it's like now they're applying for jobs or careers, or even 30 years later when they're adults trying for maybe a job or a high profile job, someone finds a picture of them totally inappropriate on social media. Well, that was 20 years ago. I was just young and stupid. Guess what? Nobody buys that excuse anymore today. So pick things wisely. Some other general suggestions: start researching the fire service. I suggest you to knock on the door of firehouses. That's a great start. You've got the internet. That's another great start. Obviously, make sure you fact check, because not everything is always accurate or up to date. Most fire department websites, or most any website for even businesses, are probably out of date the minute they're published. Why? Because things change. Think about right now. Right now, as I'm taping this, it's July 4th, 2020. We're in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. So normally business hours during pre-pandemic phases, business hours are probably very typical for any type of business, Monday through Friday this, Saturday, Sunday this. But now in the pandemic, some businesses are closed, some are reducing hours, some are open only certain days. I mean, a lot of the websites aren't being kept up. So there's just an example of make sure you do your homework, but also fact check. But the internet has a lot of great information if you take the time to pick it wisely, choose it wisely, and also validate and verify. Trust but verify, as the saying goes. I talked about visiting firehouses. Definitely do that. Obviously, the internet's a great resource. Social media is another great resource. So if you are, let's say you live in the city of Los Angeles and you want to be a firefighter, maybe Los Angeles County, there's plenty of fire departments within an hour radius, minus the traffic, of course, an hour without any traffic around, say, Los Angeles. Well, many of them have social media sites, whether it's Facebook pages, Twitter feeds, Instagram pages. I encourage you to follow them just to stay up to date with what's going on. There's also many other social media sites that are awesome out there, like Fire Engineering Magazine, fireengineering.com, or Firehouse Magazine, which is firehouse.com. There's lots of great things, and I'll continue to share some of those as we move forward here. Obviously, prepare through friends and family members. Maybe you don't have any family members. I didn't either, but you know what? Maybe there's friends. If you let others know that, hey, I'm thinking about becoming a firefighter, odds are someone in your family's network or your friend network may have a relative, a friend, an acquaintance as a firefighter. And you know what? Hey, they'll probably say, hey, call me up, come on down to the firehouse. I'll be happy to give you a tour, show you around, and talk about the career. Take advantage of those. Some other general suggestions to help start researching the fire service. Learn how one fire department differs from another. Now, I just mentioned Los Angeles a few minutes ago. I'll give an example. Los Angeles Fire Department serves the city of Los Angeles. Then there's Los Angeles County Fire Department, which serves a lot of the all the unincorporated areas of Los Angeles County, plus I think it's like over 50 different cities they have contracts with. So Los Angeles and Los Angeles County are two different departments. That's not wrong or right. It just is what it is. And then within LA County, there's also Beverly Hills Fire Department, Santa Monica Fire Department. Many different cities have their own fire department. But each of them are sometimes slightly different. You can't assume that one is the same. Many of them are very similar, but there are sometimes differences. Like LA City has always been traditionally a very militaristic style department, and there's nothing wrong with that. That suits some people perfectly. Whereas LA County, for example, always had the reputation of maybe not being as militaristic, but maybe being a little bit more laid back. I don't know if that's still the case today, but that was what I was made aware of when I was growing up. I mean, again, there's great people at every department, including those two departments. It just really is what's your style. And that's why it's critical to visit firehouses, talk to firefighters, and ask them how they differ from their neighbors. Because I bet you they'll be pretty honest and tell you how they differ, not how they're better. I mean, obviously everyone hopes we're better than the next department, but obviously how we differ. So you get a chance to see maybe what fits your style, because you may think you want to work for, say, LA County Fire, You may be a better fit though for LA City or vice versa, or neither of those, but maybe a smaller department. So again, that's why you do your research to start preparing it for the future. You can't apply for tests typically until you're 18, but you know what? It's never too early to start planning ahead. Start learning the different ranks. You know, firefighter, engineer, captain. Learn how every department's slightly different. Some departments call their company officers captain. Some call them lieutenant. Some have captains and lieutenants. Some have something totally different. Some call their drivers drivers. Some call them engineers. Some call them apparatus operators. Some don't even have the rank of engineer. Some it's just the senior firefighter, or the firefighters flip a coin to drive. So learn how the difference is there so you can better have an educated conversation when you're at the firehouse, and more importantly, once you start interviewing. All right, learn how each department's apparatus are different, not just manufacturer, but styles of apparatus. There's different type of engine companies, truck companies, rescue vehicles, ambulances. Learn the differences there. Obviously, the internet's a good start, but nothing beats going down to the firehouse and asking for a tour of the firehouse and the equipment. Also, very critical, history, traditions, and best practices. I mean, history is critical for so many reasons. I mean, what's Albert Einstein's definition of insanity? Repeating things over and over again and expecting different results. We fail to learn, not just in the fire service, but nationwide and worldwide. I think we fail to learn from history. And you know what? We see sometimes good things, but also a lot of not so good things reoccurring. And that's because we failed to learn from history. But history is critical, so we don't make the same mistakes. Traditions are critical as well, too, because, I mean, so much of our culture in the fire service is based upon traditions, pride, tradition, all those other good things. And also on the flip side, some traditions are maybe not the best. One of the traditions that used to be in the fire service was you ride tailboard, meaning you ride the back bar with no seatbelt, nothing. Well, that was a cool tradition, but that was one of those traditions that's gone by the wayside because of too many firefighters falling off, getting killed or injured. So some things in the good old days were good. And then there's other things, the good old days that, you know what, I'm glad we have the future where you don't ride the back of fire engines. You ride in a seatbelt in the enclosed cab. That's safer. I know it's not as cool and bitching as it would have been otherwise, but you know what? We got to care and give a crap about safety. So tradition is good, but also progression is good, and best practices are good too. Some other general suggestions. There's lots of free fire service email lists I encourage you to subscribe to. I shared a couple of them already, but dailydispatch.com is a great one to subscribe to give you information from your state as well as all around the nation. I mentioned fireengineering.com. Fireengineering.com is probably the biggest fire magazine out there. I mean, you could subscribe to the print magazine, which is awesome, but also they have a free email list that comes out every day, plus a slew of stuff on their website free of charge. Same with Firehouse Magazine. You can subscribe. I subscribed when I was a little kid. I remember getting one of the first editions of Firehouse Magazine when it first came out. I mean, it was pretty cool. And I used to stop by the firehouses in San Leandro, California, which is now served by Alameda County Fire. And I remember when every time I go to visit the firehouse, usually once a week on the weekends, I'd ask, hey guys, can I get some of your magazines? You know, the Fire Engineering, the Firehouse, because I loved reading those things. They're still out there, but these two are the only print magazines pretty much in existence. There may be some smaller regional ones, but everything's gone to online, which is not a bad thing. But take the time and check what you can free of charge. Also, another great email list, firefighterclosecalls.com is a great website dedicated to firefighter safety. You get almost instantaneous updates of firefighters killed, firefighters injured, safety issues, best practices, major things affecting the fire service. So I encourage you to subscribe. It's free. These are all free. You know, stay up to date with your fire service. So in the next episode, number 80, we're going to discuss some more general suggestions someone still in high school can do so they can best prepare themselves for a career in the fire service. So, as always, thank you very much for the gift of your time. Feel free to reach out if I can ever be of assistance to you. So until the next episode, be safe, take care, and we'll see you soon.